Hi, Paul here from Photogenius. Welcome to my channel where I do photography tutorials, I share tips and tricks and do occasional gear reviews as well. So if you're new, please consider subscribing. Wow, I can't believe it's already week 3 of the Photogenius Photography Challenge. This is a weekly photography challenge designed to give you guys something to do while you're staying safely at home, but also to challenge you. It's designed to get you out of auto, to explore different photography techniques, shoot some subjects that you might otherwise not shoot, and basically just to help you get more confident with your cameras and take better photos. The theme for week 1 was food and drink, and in week 2 the theme was painting with light. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's got involved with the challenge. I've really enjoyed seeing your images, and a special big thank you of course to those of you that are sharing the images either on our Facebook group or on Instagram. You guys are amazing. I'm loving the photos. Keep it up as we head into week number 3. For more details on the challenge, check out the Photogenius website. I'll put a link in the description below this video. So the theme for this week's challenge is abstract photography, and the hashtag is PG Week 3. Please use the hashtag if you're posting your images, that way I can find them. Now anyone can take part, and you don't have to have a camera. If you just want to take photos with your smartphone, that is absolutely fine. Now make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because as usual I've got some cool tips to share with you guys. Now abstract art by definition uses shapes and textures and patterns rather than showing people and things. A means of depicting a visual image that does not have an immediate association with the object world and may involve the use of colour and light, shadow, texture, shape and form. Now I do appreciate that abstract photography for some of you is going to take you out of your comfort zone, but like all of the challenges I've set you so far, this is a good thing because it's going to get you thinking differently about your photography. It's going to get you trying out new techniques, and this of course is a great way of learning. So I want to start by showing you guys a small selection of images that I've shot myself over the last couple of days with my iPhone and my camera. These images feature objects that are just found around my house. This is about seeing the everyday in a different way. Now I love the funky colours and shapes in this image, but when you look at what it actually is, it's just a cheese grater, and I've lit it with my iPhone, and a coloured marker pen lid gives me the nice pink colour. Now I had to crop in a lot to get this really cool shape. If you see the big picture, it's quite clear what it is. This image was simply a close-up of the mat our dog likes to sit on, and talking about dogs, this image I was really pleased with. This was taken whilst walking the dog in the morning, and even a common manhole cover has potential. And if you're interested in seeing more of my abstract images, please consider following me on Instagram at PhotogeniusBrisbane. This challenge is going to show you how light affects your subject in your image, how colour can affect your image, and also how you can use movement to affect your image. And if you like this image, I'll show you later in the video how I did it. Now I did mention earlier in the video that shape and form plays a very important part in abstract photography, and this is why a lot of people like to shoot black and white when they're doing abstract work, because colour is then not a distraction. Colour is very distracting to the eye, but when you take colour out of the equation, then the eye is attracted to other things like shape, form and textures. Now of course we don't see the world in black and white, so we don't always notice this, but we can using our cameras. I'm going to show you a cool trick in which you can turn on the black and white function on your camera and then use the live view mode to see the world in black and white. Now in a moment we're going to take a look at a Nikon camera, but first let's start with this Canon T7 or 1500D. We start by pressing the live view button. This of course gives us a live view of what the sensor and camera can see. So you can see here it's clearly a colour image, and to turn this into black and white, what we do is we press the Q button. From the list of options, we're going to go down to picture styles using the down button. Press set, and these are the different options that we have. So we now go to the right, and we're looking for M, which is black and white, also known as monochrome. And you can see straight away the image is now black and white. Press set, shutter button halfway just to clear the screen, and now we can see the world in black and white. So now we're using a Nikon D3500. We begin by turning on the live view, and clearly you can see we have a colour image. Now to turn this into black and white, we press the I button. From the options along the bottom, we're looking for picture control. Press the OK button to select, and here's our options, and we simply move down using the buttons until we get to MC, which is monochrome, also black and white. Press OK to select, and just like the Canon, press the shutter button lightly just to clear the screen. Now let's just focus. There you go. Now we have a black and white image on the Nikon. Now another cool way of taking amazing abstract images that I want to share with you is a technique called ICM, which stands for Intentional Camera Movement. And of course, as the name suggests, unlike usually where you're taking a picture and you hold the camera steady, this time you intentionally move the camera while the image is being taken. You can do that by rotating the camera, you can move it backwards and forwards, you can adjust the focal length of the zoom or the lens whilst you're taking a picture. It is a lot of fun. It's also very random. You'll never get two images the same, but it can give you some amazing results. Let me show you how it's done. So to begin with, I select Aperture Priority Mode, so I'm turning the dial on the top of the camera to A or AV with this Canon camera, and this means now that I have control over the aperture. Here's the aperture, f4. If I press the shutter button lightly, the camera selects the shutter speed. And this shutter speed is 1/30th of a second. It's fairly slow, but it's not quite slow enough for what we're going to do. So if I press the shutter button, you hear the shutter open and close. Now what I want to do for this technique is to slow the shutter down so it's open longer. The longer it's open, the more blur. So what I'm going to do is dial in a bigger F number. I do this by turning the dial on the top of the camera, and by making the F number bigger, I'm actually making the aperture smaller. So if I stop at F9, press the shutter button again halfway down, you'll see the camera has slowed the shutter down to let more light in. This is 1/6 of a second. So now you're going to hear the shutter has slowed down. If I try this again by dialing in a bigger F number, I'm going to go to F16. Because the aperture is effectively smaller despite the bigger number, I press the shutter button, and we're now looking at a shutter speed of 1/2 a second. So you're going to hear that. And that was the sound of the shutter opening and closing, clearly slower. Increase the F number again to 25. We're now looking at 1.3 seconds. And that's how you can use the aperture priority mode to slow the shutter down. Now when you're taking part in the challenge, of course it's your camera, use it how you like, but ideally to get the most from this challenge you want to be out of the auto mode. If you're a complete beginner and you're new to cameras, program mode, which is P on the dial, of course is a great place to begin. And if you're feeling a bit more confident with your camera, you can try aperture priority, shutter priority, and if you're really feeling brave, go for it, use the manual mode. Now I would like to remind you that if you're posting your images to Instagram or our Facebook group, to make sure you include the hashtag PGWeek3 so I and others can find your photos. Maybe include a behind the scenes image as well so we can see what you did. Now for full details on the challenge, visit the website photogenius.com.au. I'll put a link in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget down below you can leave your comments, suggestions and questions. I'll see you next time. See ya. Bye.